Welcome back everyone to another cozy yap session about Animal Crossing. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing the price tag for the next Animal Crossing video game, talking a little bit more about some things I'm developing for my Animal Crossing conceptualized game called Animal Crossing Small Town Big City, and responding to some of the comments that people have left on my YouTube videos. Not all of which have been completely positive. So we're going to be tackling all that in this podcast episode today on the Nintendo and So We Did podcast. Here we go. Well, welcome back to my podcast, everyone. This is the 10th episode, and I'm so excited to be here, guys. My name is Supa Koopa here on this channel, the MFC, but you can call me Dare. We've tackled quite a few different topics here about how we can improve the current Animal Crossing experience. And I just wanted to let you know, as we go into the 11th episode next time, we're going to be going into some of what Animal Crossing could be. And I know that some fans are a little bit worried about this, so we're going to be addressing some of those comments today about the big city experience that I have speculated for the next Animal Crossing. So I want to respond to those things today, and I also want to talk about the price tag for the next Animal Crossing game. But first, I want to show you a little bit of what I've been working on behind the scenes. Here, currently what you're seeing is every single villager in the game currently, including some that I'm going to be developing as brand new villagers as well, and some that I'm bringing back from the past. So this is my expanded villager document. You can find it in the document that I linked below. It's hidden in the villager section, but this is something that I have not completely finished or released to the public yet. But this is a list of every single villager in Animal Crossing, their unique personality, their aspiration, and their specific dream. And let me show you kind of how I'm figuring this out. If you scroll to the bottom of this document, there's a lot that I have not done yet because there's a lot in the game. But I've created this grid. And in this grid, I have all 24 aspiration types. And so you can see they're all kind of right here: social light, encourager, giver, lover, all these. So each of these types has 2 villagers that can fit into those exact personalities. So we want to have varied villagers in the game, right? So as you can see for this one, there's 2 already in the normal category for the lover villagers. And then we have this blank spot here. Now this blank spot, every single one has 1 personality type that it cannot have. So in this case, it would be the Uchi, or the sisterly personality for the lover. And then if you go to collector, it would be the jock personality, would not have any collector aspirations in that category. And then for sporty, we wouldn't have any artistic. It kind of makes sense because most people who are sporty aren't super artistic either. So yeah, as you can see here, we have a great list of some of the villagers that we've already included. We plan to fill these up with 2 in each personality type category. So that's how I'm determining what the villager should be, and we're also mixing up a lot of the current personalities as well. Another thing, let me scroll up just slightly. As you could tell on the left here, we've got some new villager types that have never been in it before. So axolotls, salamanders, fruit bats, foxes, corgis, and otters. So these are all brand new villager types that I plan to bring into my conceptualized game. And as we go back to here, these are all the ones that either have signed personality types, aspirations, and dreams already, or those that I have yet to fill in. So there are quite a few that I've actually filled in already. And then starting from the very beginning, as you can see, there's a lot that I've done. Let's just jump into one. Let's just do Bree here. So Bree is a female villager. She is the snooty personality type, but she's a minimalist. So her dream is to get a job as a busser at a high-class big city restaurant where she can create the cleanest, tidiest restaurant around. So her main dream is to be a neat freak, but be a neat freak for a restaurant. And then her dream gift, so once you help her complete her dream, it would be the Busser Caddy. This would be an item that is not available normally in the game. This is only an item you can get from completing Bree, from having her in your town and helping her through the dream. So back up at the top here, Admiral, he's going to be a cranky personality type. His aspiration is to be a minimalist, and he wants to be a minimalist because he wants to create a solitary cabin environment where he can live in peace. See, Admiral has kind of like a war-like backstory where he participated in some sort of war. What he really wants is to just live the rest of his life in peace. Once you help him complete his dream of having that solitary cabin environment where he's away from everybody else, it's quiet, it's serene, it's a nice environment for him, then he will give you the model of the ship that he used to be on when he was back in his, I guess, military days. And I think that's so beautiful because you kind of dive deeper into these characters' lores of the past, and I think that's super cool, something that we've never seen in the game before. So if you want to check this out, it is hidden in the document. Like I said, I have not released this to the public because it's not done. We might do some live streams in the future of just kind of going through this and figuring out how each of these work live with you guys. I think that'd be really fun to do, but for right now, it's just going to be hidden in the document. So that's a little bit of a secret into what I've been up to when I have not been, you know, posting videos on YouTube, and I've still been working on a lot of stuff. So what we're going to be discussing is the price tag for the next Animal Crossing and how I have kind of figured this out in the context of if Animal Crossing Small Town Big City were to be a thing, how this price tag would just make sense in the context of hopefully the definitive Switch 2 Animal Crossing experience, right? We don't want some uncompleted game when we get the next Animal Crossing game, right? We don't want something that we have to, you know, later on pay for a bunch of DLC in order for this game to be fully complete, like to get bulk crafting, for example. We want all these features to be available from the very beginning. So obviously this game might take a little bit longer than this year, 2026, to come out, because hopefully the Animal Crossing dev team is taking the time to learn from both New Horizons and from Pokemon Pokopia and other cozy games as well that have been really popular. So we're hoping that Nintendo is listening to its fans. Nintendo is learning. However, we also recognize that Nintendo has been a little bit greedy recently, and who could blame them? I mean, they can get away with it. I'm not saying it's right, but Mario Kart World being $80 individually bought was the decision that Nintendo made. And all the games in the future are going to be reaping from those repercussions. Now, it would be very easy to say that for this next Animal Crossing game, that the conclusion we should make is this game will be $80. Could be very easy to say that. However, I thought up a scenario where the game would not be $80. It would in a way, but here's where the caveat is. A lot of the comments that we're going to be looking at today bring up a lot of concerns when it comes to the big city portion. Zendol says, wouldn't buy a big city version. We already had city folk. I really don't want to go back to the city. They don't like the idea of a big city because it didn't work very well in City Folk. He says, I'm not entirely sure about the big city aspect, which we've seen in City Folk, and it didn't pan out that well. They don't like the idea of an MMO experience. Animal Crossing doesn't need any kind of MMO elements, not even connectivity ones. Talking to weirdos. Some people may just not use the feature at all, which is fair. It's for a certain amount of people. And I've created the game in such a way that you can still play the game without having to go to the big city at all. Some people may just not use the feature at all, which is fair. It's for a certain amount of people. And I've created the game in such a way that you can still play the game without having to go to the big city at all. Things will be a lot easier if you go to the city when it comes to buying things in your small town, making bells, being able to unlock the hybrid fruits, certain custom designs. Things are going to be a lot easier in the big city if you go there. And there's a lot of fun things to do as well with friends or just random people online that you may meet and can chat with a basic chat option. So my idea is to make Animal Crossing Small Town Big City a game that bundles both features for $80. But here's the catch. If you want to only get the typical Animal Crossing Small Town experience, which is Animal Crossing Small Town without the big city portion, you don't want the MMO online experience, you're buying it for your child and you don't want them to have access to that. Or maybe you're getting it for yourself and it just does not appeal to you. Then you can get the typical Animal Crossing experience for $60. Only $60. Now, that's still a lot of money, but that's a very average, normal price for a video game nowadays. And we know that price is just going up from here on out, but $60 is a great option for a fully immersive, revamped. Nintendo has listened to our request and made these features available from the beginning. No DLC necessarily has to be bought. A fully fledged Animal Crossing Small Town experience game. $60 is a great price in my opinion. Now, if you wanted to get the bundle, have both included, that's where you're going to be paying the $80 for both to be had. Now, later on, you will have the option to pay for a month subscription, a 3-month subscription, a 6-month subscription, a 1-year subscription, or if you do decide, I really like this, I want to purchase the big city portion and make it a full bundle. So I already bought the $60 game and I want to add on the $20 big city experience, which will have DLC down the road. You will pay the extra $20 and it will give you a week of bell-less pay to visit the city. So not only will you be getting your lifetime access pass to buying the big city portion of the game, but you'll also be given, for buying it after the fact, 1 week of not having to pay any bells to go to the city at all from Cabin. So I think that's pretty cool. And if you just want to go on for, say, they're having an exclusive event that you can only go to if you have access to the big city. Well, I could get a month subscription. That would cost me $2. 3 months would be $5. 6 months would be $8. And for a year, you're paying $10 for access, unlimited access, by the way, to the big city. Now, it just makes sense if you're going to play the game for many, many years to come, including all the DLC that's going to come in the future about a year or two into the game's lifespan, which will be free, like I mentioned, then you're going to want to get the lifetime pass. You're going to want to initially buy the bundle of Small Town Big City, or if you want to wait a little while and get the bundle later on, maybe when you have the money or when you see what new features come out, then you can get the lifetime access pass to that for only $20. So if you get the year pass, it's going to be $10, but then you can get a lifetime for $20. It's a good deal. Each of these prices seem to make sense in my head of what I would be willing to pay to have 1 month access for $2. $5 for 3 months sounds like a pretty good deal to have access to this exclusive feature. So, in summary, I just want to kind of summarize what we talked about. If you want to buy the full game, it's going to be $80. If you only want to buy the small town experience of the game, that would be $60, with the option to buy the big city portion later on as kind of that add-on for $20. Or if you don't want to pay for the lifetime pass and only want to visit during special events, you can pay for a month for $2, 3 months for $5, 6 months for $8, or if you want a year of unlimited access, it would be $10. Once again, this is US dollars. I don't know what that would be in Europe or Australia or wherever you may live. But if you simply just want to get a lifetime access pass and have the game from there on out, and you don't have to worry about that, either get the main bundle or later on buy the $20 access for lifetime. And like I said, DLC for this game, which we have not yet talked about in these podcast videos specifically. But let me just tell you, there will be additional cities that you can go to for free. Brand new cities with new NPCs, new places to go, new spots to see, new buildings, new apartments. All these things will be added into the game roughly 1 to 2 years into the game's lifespan. So if you get the big city, you will not only be getting just the one main city, but later on in the game's lifespan, you will be getting more cities that you can visit and collect new furniture, do all these new experiences with your friends or with people online. So I think this is a really great way to make Animal Crossing a little bit cheaper for those who would maybe be expecting that $80 price tag. Well, you don't have to pay $80. You can pay a typical $60 to buy this game, and you have the option of buying the rest later. So what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments of this podcast if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube. I would love to hear your thoughts about that $60 price tag for Animal Crossing with the optional $80 or just pay as you want to kind of price tag on it. What do you think about that? I would love to hear your feedback. Speaking of feedback, this is how I would like to wrap up the video today and sharing a little bit of the feedback that I've gotten from my YouTube videos. As I said in the intro, not all of it has been completely positive. I've been told that this is just slop, that Animal Crossing New Horizons is slop in and of itself. And I don't really love that people throw around that word slop. I've got some comments like this where they just like say, I want this, and they've taken no time to think about how that would work in the context of an actual game. They just say, these are my requests, this is what I want. Nintendo, make it happen. That is not what I've done. And I also have not used any sort of ChatGPT or anything to create any of these ideas. The only thing that I ever use ChatGPT for, which I have stopped doing by the way, because of a comment of a YouTuber, which I will mention some of her also good and constructive feedback in this section as well, but the only thing that I had ever used for is to generate some images to use. I wasn't really taking this seriously at the time. I just wanted to get my ideas out there. But now that I'm actually taking this much more seriously and thinking about AI and the effects that it has on the community and all that, now, like, I never use any generative AI for any of the photos or anything that I'm creating. I'm either creating it myself or I'm using already pre-existing images from Nintendo themselves that are already licensed through them. So, with that being said, a lot of these ideas are great ideas, but I don't feel like the hate that I've gotten from some of the ideas is warranted. I feel like sometimes people on YouTube can be pretty harsh, and when you're putting yourself out there to share your ideas, you're going to be told that your ideas are inferior, or they're awful, or we've already tried this, it didn't work, this is terrible. You know, like, I understand that. So your perspective is valid, but I also think that being able to share my perspective is also valid. So there's that. All right, so what you are going to be looking at now is all the comments that had to do with the game in general, some ideas that people had, as well as some feedback that they had on the ideas that I've already shared. We're also going to be diving into some of those thoughts, a little bit more aggressive thoughts about the big city portion in this time. So this is a great opportunity to comment on one of these videos. Let me know some of your thoughts or ideas, and kind of let me know what you think about my ideas as well. So let's kind of start going into it. So the first one was this person on YouTube with Anime Person said, where can I know more about villager aspirations? The mega document. I fully flesh out all of these personalities, aspirations, and dreams. And like I showed you earlier in the video, I've done a lot of work into fleshing out specific villagers that are already in the game, exactly what that's going to look like. So you can check out the document for that. That's the answer. The next one is from Sanrio Doll, and they say, kind of like you, but I want my favorite animal, otter, to be in the game, and that you can change the color of buildings. And like we said earlier in the video, otter would be one of the coolest additions to the game. We already have an otter NPC in Pascal or Pascal, depending on how you say it. So I think seeing more otters would just be really cute and a great addition to the game. I agree. And being able to change the color of buildings would be really fun. It'd be great to be able to change your town hall building, or more color, changing the colors of your villagers' buildings, or even more stuff for your own house. This game will specifically be taking place in an octagonal tent for most of the game, and then you'll have the option to pay off a loan and actually get your own house. So there's going to be a lot of tent upgrades that you're going to be able to get. So you're going to have a lot of cool upgrades to make your tent look beautiful in this game. So there will be a lot of cosmetic stuff to change this game. All right. This person, Unripe the Berby 6283, says, wow, this would feel like a full-blown simulator. The only thing it'd lack is a dating option. Everything seemed awesome, you guys. Maybe one day some of it won't be a dream. And thank you to this commenter. Really liked the ideas that we shared. Obviously, dating in Animal Crossing is kind of like something that doesn't really mix up between you and villagers. I don't think that should be an option. It's not something that I've included. Though you can increase their friendship level with that person, and there will be some NPC characters that will be dating in the games, like the Pelicans. We mentioned that in our last podcast in episode 9, where I had Sienna on. We talked about the Pelican love triangle, like the soap opera. So there will be an element of dating and choice within that realm as well. And maybe some other characters will have a love interest for each other, like it's been teased for Tom Nook and Sable as well. So we'll see. Commenter Crying Watercolors. She's the one that initially brought up the concerns with using generative AI for images and stuff in the art community, and I really took that to heart, and I've switched from not doing any AI at all on my videos because of her. So your comments really do matter for the content that I'm putting out. So thank you for commenting, Crying Watercolors, and all of you who have commented on my videos. But she says, I would love to be mayor. I heard it was an option in the previous games. That's true. And it's so sad that a lot of my commenters have never played any previous games. I started with Wild World, went to City Folk, went to New Leaf, went to Horizons. Now I'm here in the small town, big city craze of what I've created. But yes, you used to be able to be the mayor in the game. That was the main point. You would appoint public works projects, and you were kind of almost like the shadow mayor in a way. But I also too think it would be really cool to bring the mayoral feature back, but just not make it the main gimmick of the game. Just an option. And if you don't want that, then Isabelle will kindly take over the mayoralship for you. And I love the idea of having the choice not to mayor if you don't want that power. I agree. It's great to have optional power rather than to be forced that power on you all the time. She also says, and upgradable shops. I've always loved the idea of Main Street from the previous games, but as someone who only played New Horizons, my closest to having that experience was in the DLC, and I adored designing stores and the way that it was like a little street. I just want it on my island. That would be great. And then she also mentions that Katie, oh, hello. Hi, Rory, my cat. That Katie would be a fun addition if you've never gotten to experience Katie. She was kind of an annoying NPC in my opinion, but I think it could be really cute if you had to return her to her mom in the big city. She also mentioned in a comment below that after finishing the video. Once again, it was intriguing and really well presented. Thank you. I really wish Nintendo would take notes and bring back some of these amazing things from past games. And I liked your unique ideas too, like the Relic Store. Restore, yes, thank you. Really excited to see what else you come up with, especially for DLCs. Amazing work, and again, really glad to hear you'll be turning from generative AI. And then she talked about how maybe she realized her comment was a little brash, but in the end, it helped turn things around for me. So thank you, Crying Watercolors, for your great comments. Yes, I agree with you. I think it would be really cool to have a relic shop and to include relics in the game to get Nintendo and other exclusive items that have functions in the game. So yeah, I think that'd be cool to have more shop options in your town as well, like you mentioned. Yeah, Happy Home Paradise really added some cool options to create your own little shops, restaurants, things like that. I'm finishing up the gameplay for that right now. I took a while to go through it. I'm really taking my time with it, but yeah, I think that's really cool. That seems like a little too much power, maybe, but in the future, maybe adding that to my game might be something that I'm interested in. The next one is a comment from Jasper L 1998. And Jasper says, my dream setting would be the cozy forest setting of the GameCube game with a big city to travel to that would have villagers who don't live in your town as well as other online players. And Jasper, you're in the right place because Animal Crossing Small Town Big City is exactly that. It gives a lot of the, in the small town feature of the game, a lot of reminiscent to the GameCube game. We're bringing, reflections back on the water, lily pads, 90-degree turn buildings, sports days coming back. So a lot of that stuff that was left behind in the GameCube version that never came back, we're bringing it back in Small Town. And then Big City, obviously, is the portion of the game, if you choose to buy it, where you can go online, play with friends, and you can visit past villagers as well who have moved away from your town and create some really cool memories and moments with your past villagers and with people who you've never met or your friends that you do have in your friends list. So thank you for your comment, Jasper. The next one is from Daniel CEA 3607, and they say, I don't know how I feel about having my shops in a static area in the town square. Right now, I have a nice setup with the Able Sisters and a bunch of vending machines in front of Timmy and Tommy's. So basically what this commenter is saying is, I don't like the idea of not being able to move your buildings around and have them being separate. I totally get that. And that's also part of the frustrations that I've had in other games where they're just kind of chosen for you. Now, the reason that I went in this direction for this Animal Crossing game is the idea of having less control, that this is a town that has already been pre-established, yet it's struggling. So you need to help it get back on its feet. However, one thing that you might not know, commenter, is that you can move the town square in general to any valid place in your town, as it stands right now at least. This does not include moving buildings, so unfortunately you can't put like vending machines right in front of it, but you can decorate the surrounding area, just not in a valid town square space. I will say this though, one thing that New Horizons did really well is they allowed you to see the shops going through different seasons, specifically the Nook shop. Once you upgraded it, it would have some really cool things outside of the shop. So you would see like different banners, different logos. You would have the snowman blow mold in the winter, and you would see the life preserver in the summer. So I'd like that to be built upon once your kind of small town gets more established, that they'll start putting out more decorations to make it feel more like the season, and during holidays that they'll be fully decorated as well. So this is the centerpiece for your town holidays and town events, and this is a place where a lot of your villagers and special NPC characters are going to hang out, like your holiday characters like Jack or Jingle and stuff like that during the holidays. So this is going to be a very special place to go. All right, well, thank you for your comment. This next commenter from It's a Gabe, we'll say it that way, like Mario, It's a Gabe. he did not have some very nice, constructive, positive things to say. I tried to continue a conversation with him, but he did not have anything positive to say and to add on to it. But we're going to read it anyway, because all comments are welcome, even ones that I don't agree with or don't agree with my ideas. That's totally valid. So he says, I appreciate the passion and effort that clearly went into these ideas. Thank you so much. I appreciate that you started that way. But as a longtime Animal Crossing fan, I gotta give some feedback. To me, this doesn't feel much like Animal Crossing, but rather something inspired by it. I think the series was at its best when it didn't have clear objectives and when the game opened up right away instead of gradually. And I completely agree with this. I don't know if the commenter knew this, but the intention for the game was that you can get right into the game. The only progression part of it is the cleaning up of the town, which is something that pretty much every game had. You had weeds, you had things about the game that you had to grow, like talking to Sable, earning her trust. You didn't just talk to her right away. She was quiet. She didn't talk to you until you took the time to build up that friendship with her. It's very similar in this game. You don't have to do a strenuous, I gotta go work for Nook, I gotta go do this in this game. You don't have to worry about that. But let's go on with the comment. It's one thing to upgrade shops, but I think it feels like a different game when you phrase it as the town needing a lot of work. The feeling I'm getting is that we'll join the town as a resident and help it grow instead of just living in it, taking each day at a time and doing anything else because we want to, not because there's a quest log telling me I have to complete projects. And Gabe, like, I totally agree with that comment. That is not what we're looking at here. Unfortunately, your comment doesn't really reflect on what the game is in general. There's not going to be a bunch of gacha quests. Now, there are an element of things that are needed to help your villagers improve your friendship level with them and their dream. So there will be some stuff that you get to do, but it's no different than what was happening already in the GameCube version of the game, where they would give you little quests and you would have to go complete those, or they had some things that they wanted you to do, or you had to write a letter. Like, these things are not, you know, that uncommon in Animal Crossing games. So when you say that it doesn't feel like Animal Crossing, that you're a longtime Animal Crossing fan, I don't know what you're referring to when it comes to your comment here. And you do get to help the town grow, and similar to a feature that's working really well right now in Pokemon Pokopia is that the more that you do and the more that you grow in your features that you're able to copy, that certain Pokemon will appear. So there's a progression in the game. So I guess that would be what you described as that it doesn't feel like much like an Animal Crossing game, but something inspired by it, which is what we're seeing in Pokopia, but that's getting a lot of success. So it's okay to move away from some of those features, but what I will tell you, Gabe, is that Animal Crossing New Horizons was a big step away from the typical Animal Crossing formula. And that's kind of what the big city portion would be, but like I said, this is an optional feature. So Gabe, I appreciate your comment. I think you're just a little misunderstood as to what this game would be. He also goes on to say some more things, and this will kind of tie into what we're going to be talking about, the big city aspect. He says, I'm not entirely sure about the big city aspect, which we've seen in City Folk, and it didn't pan out that well. And the reason that didn't pan out well was not because there was a city. People loved the city feature. The thing that they did not like is that the whole game was a carbon copy besides the city feature of Wild World. So I think you're a little bit wrong there. Animal Crossing doesn't need any kind of MMO elements, not even connectivity ones. Kind of disagree with that in the sense that in New Leaf, we had the island, and that worked really, really well. And you didn't just go at friends, you went on with random people that you met. And it was a smaller pool of people as well. So the people that you would meet up with, like, it was a small dose, but I never heard any problems with that. In fact, that was a beloved feature in New Leaf. Even though New Horizons was a commercial success, it's clear that the opinions on it are generally that it had a lot of room for improvement. I totally agree. I'm right there with you. I think they should take that feedback and go back to the series' roots. Exactly what this idea is. By all means, take the extra customization introduced in New Horizons. That was a fantastic next step following New Leaf. But instead of making the game even bigger with way too many features, scale it down. Maybe go back to a town setting, I agree with that. Bring back PWP for bigger projects that you wouldn't just whip out of your pockets, and write better character interactions. So I don't know if Gabe is just misunderstanding what we're doing here. The big city game will be a MMO experience, and it will act a lot different, but it gives you a sense of Animal Crossing going in a different direction, but without compromising Animal Crossing's roots in your small town experience. So like the comment said, they should take the feedback and go back to the series roots. A lot of stuff that's going on in the game that I've conceptualized is going back to a lot of the features that were left behind. It's in a small town setting, and then we're keeping that other thing completely separate. So, like I said, I appreciate Gabe's comment. I just think maybe he's misunderstanding what small town big city is as a whole. It's not mandatory to go to the big city, but it will be something that I think you all would love to do, just to progress Animal Crossing in a positive future without compromising the integrity of the past. The next commenter is Just Cliff and says, I like the idea of blending traditional Animal Crossing with a separate MMO experience. See, this guy gets it. I've always wanted to have friends be able to edit my town with me. And we've seen that happen in Slumber Islands, where you can go on and everybody has access to editing the town. That will not be the case here in the small town experience. However, pretty much what Slumber Islands is now, this was before Slumber Islands was even conceptualized, and they were probably still working on it, but I came up with the idea first, surprisingly. But in my idea, you can do more than just change the weather or the time of day. You can actually set specific conditions where you can actually turn it into a mini game island, where maybe you can play a game of mini golf using the sports balls that are available in the town during sports day, or different things where you can actually jump, or you can't jump, like over hills or cliffs or things like that. So I think that could be cool, and having that separate MMO experience is definitely needed. Thank you for your comment, Jess Cliff. Let's continue. From MHLFR, this was a comment on one of my reels, and he said, nice, I'd recommend changing the second 10K to 100K. Now, this was referring to shop upgrades and how much money you have to pay to upgrade your shops, and I'm pretty sure that I might have put a typo in the reel. When you upgrade a shop, you have to spend 100K bells, and then the second time you also had to spend 100K bells, so I believe that just was a misunderstanding there. The next one is actually one that I took into consideration and included in my document now because of this comment. So for I'm not really sure how to say that, but Ava, we'll just say, says there's a reason why flowers don't stack, and that is due to their genome info. I had no idea about this previous to this comment. Flower baskets, which can act as small inventories inside your inventory, could work to still keep the flower separation, but keep the stackability. So thank you for your comment, Ava. So, flower baskets could be a really cool addition to the game, and I agree. Look at flower genome info and you will see just how complex it is to grow a blue rose in all the Animal Crossing games. It's honestly insane. And so please look into that first, but I didn't realize that, and most people probably don't realize how difficult it is to grow those hybrid flowers and how they don't stack. I just thought it was just, we don't stack the items because a lot of items aren't stackable, and I'm totally wrong. It's because of the genome info. However, adding a flower basket, you can stack, I believe I said 20 flowers all in one basket, and it's in one item. So once you click it, it expands and you could take flowers out of that, similar to a drawer mechanic. In fact, the drawer mechanic would probably be more helpful. However, the flower basket you can hold with you while you are kind of going around and planting flowers. So it's nice to be able to hold that flower basket with you. It's just a cool cosmetic choice. So thank you for your comment. It truly did impact the way that I see flowers in the game and change my perspective on it. This person, Salsa Stamper 177, says, pretty cool. Seems slightly complicated for Animal Crossing, but then again, flowers exist. And exactly just like as I said. This person, Alice NFT, said some really good things about what they would like to see in the future. And they say, I think something that would be nice is to add characters that work the shops, have their own houses and work schedule, so you can see them locking up for the night and walking home or to work. And Atlas, I bet you're really excited about this because I recently updated my document because of your comment to talk about how NPC villager and shop owners have their own schedules. This was something that I had thought of, especially in the big city. I thought it would be cool to have that, to fill up the city, to see the characters walking around. But I have established this also in the small town now. So this is a feature that I've added partially because of your comment. So thank you for that. I think that's a really good idea to have certain characters have certain schedules, and they can go to even like the museum, to other shops, go grab something to eat at the restaurant on their break. Be really cool. So thank you for that comment. They also say that they would like to see characters have more established storylines in a more established town that can be upgraded, similar to Stardew Valley. When it rains, let puddles form on the ground and let snow build up throughout the day. We've added puddles as a feature that villagers can splash in, and we also have established certain buildings that cannot be moved and stuff. So those are some things that we have thought of. I don't want to go in the Stardew Valley direction completely with NPCs and everybody having their own home. However, I would like them to be able to go somewhere and to stay for the night and then come back for their job, probably on the train or take the taxi back to the big city. Could be a way that could work. They also say, let's add caves, a beach. Two things that we already have in small town, big city: woods, mountains, and town area. Caves for mining. Woods, you can fish at the lake and may find someone new camping, sunbathing on the beach, and fishing maybe. Even getting you a snow cone. The world just needs to feel more alive, and I completely agree. That's why we'd like to add the city to the game, to just feel like you could just go, to the city and you can grab a snow cone if you want. You can go to this restaurant or cafe. You can interact with this person, go here, go there, hang out with friends. I think that'd be super cool. And I also like the idea of, going somewhere, I'm going camping in this specific portion of the town. I think what they're just saying is they're taking ideas like Stardew Valley and they're just expanding it and bringing it into Animal Crossing. And that's not quite what I've done. But of course, we have to also look into what other cozy games are doing and take some inspiration from them too. 4444444. That sounds like a reference to a law firm in our local area, but they say, love the introduction for caves. Thank you. We love the idea of caves. Now, this comment was not mean-spirited, but just more of corrective in nature. But Holly Hartwick says, your description of bartering isn't bartering. That's called haggling. Barter is exchanging goods and or services for other goods and or services, which is basically what I have made. The way that I was describing it was like describing haggling, even though the concept that I've created is true to what bartering is. And their haggling is actually a part of the bartering concept that I've already talked about. So they went on to say, like, I'll give you 3 of my chicken's eggs for a bottle of your cow's milk, sort of thing. Then they went on to say, as a concept, it's not bad. Could be challenging for the devs to implement, but it could be useful if done correctly and well balanced for the player. So thank you, Holly, for your comment. I appreciated the feedback, and I also kind of mentioned something as a response to that. We've seen them add some amazing new features, and the crafting element added in New Horizons. And this is particularly something that we have in the game to some degree already. We do have some trading in the game as it stands. So we definitely need more things to do with villagers. So I've created this concept as bartering. So I think bartering would definitely be a thing that would be somewhat complex, but with bartering kind of already being something in the game where you trade, hey, could I trade you this hat item for 132 bells? You're just taking the bell element out of it, and you're just replacing it with other items. So I think it could be cool, and I appreciate Holly for your corrective comment here. Now, this is my most recent comment on a video. Shauna loves pink flowers, 4872. I also saw that she checked out my mega document, so thank you, Shauna. I appreciate your comment here. And she's referring to the fact that moon phases reflect the different tide levels. And she also says that she loves the idea of moonrise and moonset schedule being more aligned to the real life one. And this is not something that I even thought of before, but this is a great idea. In Animal Crossing, the moon always rises in the evening and sets in the morning, but in real life, it actually depends on the phase of the moon. For example, new moons actually rise at about the same time as sunrise and set about the same time as sunset. Then waxing crescents rise slightly after sunrise and set slightly after sunset. If you've ever seen the moon out during the daytime and wondered why is it out and why is that happening, it's because during different moonrise and moonset times, you can actually see the moon during the day, or it's not out during the night. So really, really cool concept to match this to real life, Shauna. Thank you for this comment. It's something that I'll have to take into consideration for the future. Now that we're implementing the moon phases into the tides, definitely have to include this as well. Just so you know where we're going in this podcast, we're now going to be tackling, we've finished the small town portion, and now we're going to be going into depth about the big city. And I've had a lot of great conversations with other YouTubers as well, but these are the best comments that I've received on my videos that I wanted to share with you guys and let you know that I see your comments and they truly do affect the way that I go about making these mega document changes and making this game into what it is. So make sure you comment and let me know what you think about my ideas and what you would like to add to the game, or how you would expand upon or change the ideas that I have as well. I'm open to all of it. Guys, thank you for watching this very interesting fan scripted episode of this podcast. Like I said, in the next episode, episode 11, we're working into the big city portion, and all the episodes after that, we're going to be looking into what Animal Crossing Big City would look like now that we know that it's an optional part of the game. Would you have enough information to want to buy the extra $20 expansion to the game and go to the big city? I think you will, and you'll see why in the next coming podcast episodes. So thank you for watching this. I'm so appreciative of you taking the time. If you made it to the end, I mean, this has been a pretty long video, so thank you so much for supporting me, and it means that you must be interested in this, so make sure you like and subscribe for more content like this, and check out the mega document for more. Once again, my name is Super Koopa, also known as Dare, and you have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next podcast episode. Take care. This has been the Nintendo So We Did podcast, episode 10. If you want to find this podcast on your favorite podcast streaming site, check it out on Spotify or Apple Podcast for more on Animal Crossing Small Town Big City. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.